To Boro's Courtyard Made Easy by Berserker. Alright, well, when you start this is a story mode. You can have pretty much any mixture. But you want 2 tanks, decently geared, which is about 35k to on up. You could probably do it with lower, but it'll be stressful on the healers. Then you have your 4 healers, which you can do with 3 in story mode, as long as they're decently geared and know what the hell they're doing. 4 ranged is easiest for both modes, and what you do is I separate group 1, 2 tanks, melee, group 2, assorted DPS, group 3 are on adds, so I usually put all ranged DPS in group 3, and then group 4 is heals, or an extra ranged DPS if there is one. Right, as you notice, as I'm tanking the boss, I turn him towards the door so that the melee DPS can stand at the side and run up the steps during the laser phase. Now we're already at the burn phase, which happens around 22%, somewhere in there. That's when everybody on the boss kick his ass. Good game. If you saw my rotation, that's how you keep aggro under the best of circumstances as a guardian. But I typically have 2 healers healing the off tank, 2 healers healing the main tank, and it works out pretty well. This, obviously, there's 3 healers on me, which didn't need to be. In story mode, you also don't need to pop barrels, so you don't have to move them around. And there we go. Boom. Dead. Gone. And there's some of the loot. I always need on things for guildies, except for those damn speeder things that nobody wants, at least on my server. Hard mode, I choose to off tank because off tanking in hard mode is probably the most important. These adds will burn down anybody that they focus on except the tank. Now, since I'm geared, I don't bother with the barrels, mainly because in pug groups the range often forget to interrupt the other droid that tries to wipe the barrels buff, and so I don't even bother with it. If you notice, I leave the barrels. I leave the robots to be destroyed by ranged DPS, and I get up here. Now, the main thing in hard mode differences is the boss hits harder, and the laser fires quicker each time, eventually getting down to like 2.6 seconds, somewhere in there. Or 2 seconds, I think, is the thing. Now, you definitely want to have your best DPS and ranged DPS on the adds to get them down before each laser phase. You also want the other main tank to call out if they're in voice chat, if you're doing this as a guild run, when to move, because you can't hear the laser siren if you're down there at the end. You only hear it if you're up top. You saw the one guy before he died. He got too close. You want to stand behind that gray line that you see around the side. The main tank will need barrels, so you'll have to push them, and every other laser phase you'll need to pop another one if he times it right. So, as you see, our group did pretty well, for being a pickup group especially. We had like 4 guildies, so it helped. And then also because I'm a good tank. I know if you're a guardian tank, it's easy to hold aggro on those adds. Plus your reflect help burns them down. You'll hear Niku say, "Oh, the adds die quicker here than in story mode." That's because I was tanking the boss in story mode. So the reflect didn't help kill them. Now look, I've got the purple circle of death. This in hard mode can kill a DPS or healer if they're not healed immediately. Story mode, they can survive it better. Now, it being on me plus the adds was a bit unfortunate, but I just popped cooldowns to help the healers keep me up. It's very important when you're DPS, while DPSing this boss, that you do as much damage as possible. The rage timer is a little tighter. especially in 16-man. 8-man's not too much different. I would suggest having one ranged on the ads in 8-man story mode. They can usually drop them with the off tank. In hard mode, I'd have 2 ranged DPS on it, and then have everybody else stay on the boss.
Our voices are just recording like the fight.
But everybody does it differently. 8-man, whichever your group dynamic works. 16-man's a bit more flexible because you have twice as many DPS. So.
Well, I've never heard the sound.
It's a fun fight to tank. It really is. You can also really tell if a tank's good or not, because if they lose aggro in this, the raid's, it's screwed. If the main tank loses aggro on the boss, which again should never happen, they can one-shot people pretty much. Ranged should never die. Ranged and healers should never die on either mode. They should stay up at the side the whole time. They should never be down the middle. Some groups I see them run down the middle and they're fail. Obviously, just the worst thing ever. I've had quite a few hard modes just be utter shit because people wouldn't listen and stand at the side. If you have a sentinel in your group during hard mode, they can always have transcendence up. Use it. Predation if imp side. And boom, there you go. Hard mode down. We only lost a couple people due to the laser. One was a stupid mistake. The other, he didn't hear it. Thank you for watching. This has been Square Pegs in a Round Hole. Taboros made easy.
Look at this badass tanking by Berserker.
And then I said the word penis.